Good morning, guys. I'm Rob from Robot Electric. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay, well, let's get started. Thank you for coming out and joining me today. I'm Rob from Robot Electric. This is one of our little presentations that we do every 3-4 weeks, I guess. This one here I came across that I thought you'd be very, very interested in. Now, the system that's set up is the city of Edmonton looks after giving out permits and that sort of thing. And they hire a private company called the Inspection Group. They're a group of inspectors that go around and check out all the projects and something on behalf of the city of Edmonton. And they're the ones that say whether it passes or fails based on the Canadian Electrical Code requirements. That's easy. But now something that they started last year in the fall, I want you to be aware of. When the inspectors come out to check out air conditioning, for example, that's the biggest one that comes to mind. The inspectors are there, and when you do air conditioning, when you do air conditioning, you need to take out an electrical permit for the electrical portion of the job. That's law in Alberta. But now something that's happening is this. When you take out an electrical permit, the city inspector comes out to make sure that the electrical work that you've done is to code. They are sometimes now failing the electrical work, even though the electrical work might be done properly. Now, let me explain to you why. Last fall, they decided to give the inspectors the power to fail an installation based on their discretion as to whether they feel the electrical service coming into the house has been overloaded. Now, where this really comes into play is in the older houses, the stuff pre-1960. What this is back pre-1960, there's a good chance it's a 60 amp electrical service. A 60 amp electrical service was designed to handle normal house equipment and so forth. But today, with the addition of everything, it's right at the edge. This is why the insurance companies are asking new buyers to older homes to have the service upgrades done from 60 to 100. That information you can get online in the library at robotelectric.com. But what we're talking about right now is at the discretion of the inspector. He's going to take a look, and if he feels it's a 60 amp service and there was a 30 amp air conditioner added to it, he will fail it. What he's going to ask for is a load calculation. A load calculation is something we talked about at our last presentation. This is something that's done by a master electrician. What it does is it takes all the information about the loads and so forth, and it determines how much demand is being placed on the electrical service. If it is found that the demand of the house is higher than the amperage of the electrical service, the inspector will fail the inspection and he will ask that AC not be used. I haven't gone to any situations where it failed and they've asked for it not to be used because I don't know what they would do to stop it. But when I do a load calculation, we take a look at things like square footage. We take a look at how many stoves, how many dryers, air conditioning, hot tub, car charger, all those different things. And what it is we come up with a number based on calculations out of the Canadian Electrical Code Book. If the load calculation comes out higher than the rating of the electrical service, there's a number of different things we can do to offset this to make it pass. In the case of a 60 amp service, the only thing we can possibly do is do a service upgrade. And in a 24-month period, Robot Electric has done over 250 service upgrades. I think we're the top producers in Edmonton. Anyway, getting back to this. A service upgrade would correct that problem of a 60 amp service. Now, what if you've got a 100 amp service? A 100 amp service with an air conditioner and so forth should not be excessive, but depending on the square footage and so forth, it may. There are a number of things we can do to help out that situation. Things like we can put in a load miser. What a load miser is, it's a device that we install near the panel. And what it does is it prevents two loads from operating at the same time. So then one of those loads gets taken out of the load calculation. For instance, we can say an air conditioner and a stove, or sorry, just letting people in. We can say things like an air conditioner and a stove, where if you need the stove in the summer, your air conditioning will turn off. When you're done with the stove, the air conditioning restarts. Things like this. This is how you reduce the demand on an electrical service to allow for the load calculation to give you a passing mark. So now this is the things that are going on up there that I wanted to make you guys aware of. These load calculations are something that is done by a master electrician. And the normal cost to your client for something like that is usually about $150 plus tax. They are very, very important, and they've become a tool that the city of Edmonton is using a lot of now. Just to recap quickly for those who missed it last week, hot tubs and car chargers are the two things that when you get them put in and you ask for an electrical permit, those are the two things we must do a load calculation for. If you're putting in a car charger, you've got to have a 100 amp service. If you're putting in a hot tub, you've got to have a 100 amp service. Let me tell you something else. We're doing a lot of service upgrades right now. The majority of the people today are going for 200 amp instead of 100 amp. Let me tell you what's happening with that though. Just getting off topic just a little bit. A 200 amp service is normally done with an overhead electrical service. The underground services are costing anywhere from $20,000 to $30,000 to upgrade an underground service from 100 to 200 amps. The overhead services, they're a lot easier to do because everything is exposed. But what's happening today is if your client comes to me and asks for a 200 amp service, I've got to go to the engineers at EPCOR and get their permission. What I'm actually doing is asking them to check the available power in the alley to see if this customer can have 200 amps. What's happening, and they're probably failing 1 out of 6, 1 out of 8 of my requests, because the transformer in the alley has become saturated. In other words, there are too many people asking for 200 amp. If your client is there before it's saturated, you're lucky. If your client is there after saturation, EPCOR tells us that they're going to charge your client $10,000 to upgrade the electrical transformer so that they can give your client a free 200 amp service. But the funny thing is, if the neighbor next door comes and says, hey, I really like that idea, I'm going to go get 200 also. He goes to EPCOR and they say, of course you can have 200 and it's free because this guy just paid for the transformer. It's a stupid situation. Anyway, what I want to say was 200 amp services are really, really becoming popular, especially with hot tubs and the upcoming car chargers. Car chargers, we all know, can be anywhere from a simple plug-in on the wall to 30, 40, 60, or 90 amp chargers. These put a huge demand on your electrical service. So these are something that you've got to watch out for. A lot of this information is online under robartelectric.com. The top right-hand edge is a thing called the library. You can go into the library at robartelectric.com, get all this information on PDF that you can download and share with your clients, or just for your personal information. And for all the people who are here today, you are going to receive a link to our 32-page manual. Manual?
Guide.
A guide, okay, manual guide. It's a book that we've created on residential electrical that gives you all the PDFs that were written on all these different topics. And again, if you guys need any more information, you have my phone number, 780-238-8195, robotelectric.com. Call me up and I can answer all your questions for you. I just want to thank all of you for stopping by today.
Message.
Oh, you got a message?
Is there any way to tell if the alley's transformer is already saturated when looking to purchase property?
No, there's no way. That's only, oh, sorry, what they asked for was, is there any way of telling if the transformer in the alley is saturated prior to purchasing? No. An electrical contractor has to go to EPCOR and ask the engineers to do an investigation. Those engineers usually take a day or two to get back to us and let us know what's going on. Oh, there we are. And now I can see the thing. All right, thanks. If you guys got any more questions, stick them. You're welcome. If you guys got any more questions, put them in now. But no, you can't predetermine that. It doesn't cost anything for EPCOR to answer the question, except if the transformer is overloaded. But I just wanted to bring you guys up to speed on a couple of those little things that we were talking about last time. And this came up in a question because somebody failed an inspection. So I thought I'd let you know about it. Stay tuned, guys, for more upcoming talks and so forth. I'm going to be writing a whole bunch of new articles on different topics, and we'll have those posted for you. But stay tuned for notices of upcoming more podcasts, I guess. Have a wonderful day, everybody.